Hey, guys, welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. Preseason opens tomorrow night in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll be flying there later tonight, along with Chris Halleck, who will be joining us here in a little bit. Lots of things to not look forward to in the game, meaning a lot of the main guys, no reason to play them, no expectation of them being played. Even names that don't get announced beforehand as not playing will often not play. So don't get your hopes up like this is the big test. This is the, in a lot of ways, as Aaron Rodgers himself was pointing out earlier this week, in a lot of ways, you can benefit more from your internal practices or from those intra-squad practices like the Steelers are having Thursday against the Buccaneers. You can find ways to make those controlled settings work to your advantage more than any kind of faux or pretend games like the one that we're going to see. And now that I've got you appropriately excited about that, it's not as if there's nothing to look forward to. And that's what we're going to get into today. We're gonna be getting into things that you do want to look for, players that you do want to watch for, and we're gonna try to discern the difference in advance between, how shall we put it, the Tuzar skipper types, meaning the kinds that are just gonna look good in preseason games, but aren't necessarily gonna look good in an actual NFL, much less an AFC North game, where a certain other level of moxiness is required to compete. I'm going to start with one name, and I don't care who makes fun of me for it or whatever, because I'm just going to give you a name. I don't have any particular bias toward this player. I don't have any particular expectations for this player, but he's a third-year practice squad guy. I mean, you can call him that. If he spends all of 2024 on the practice squad, he's popped in and out of NFL games in the past, but he's having himself a very nice camp. That's Brandon Johnson. He's a wide receiver. He's 6'2", 195. He has the kind of build that you would want for somebody who could, say, for example, take up DK Metcalf's routes if Metcalf were to go down for whatever reason. Now, that's not the heaviest of praise that I've ever offered. He can take up his routes. He can't run them or get your complete plays out of them. He's had a very good camp. You notice him every time that there's a drill. He stands out a little bit, not just because he's a little bit taller than the rest of the guys. Now, he has had extra opportunities because Calvin Austin's been out, and because you're not going to, wear down Metcalf, at least not as much as he was getting worn down, I thought, in the opening week of camp. They've taken it a lot easier on him. When you're trying to put together a wide receiver room and you're trying to get these roles to make sense for the individuals, what you have to do here is not just stack all of your wide receivers into one pile like pancakes. You have to put them into where they're going to be on the field. My biggest stated concern all along, as it relates to WR2, has been who will back up Metcalf, specifically his roles. If you don't remember what that looks like, I'm going to give you a refresher. Remember George Pickens going down last season? Wasn't very comfortable for you, was it? The main reason for that is that George was running routes that nobody else on the team could. He was going deep. He was setting himself up for go balls. He didn't have anybody else to do that. So what happened when Sunday came along was you just had to say, we're just taking all these plays out of the book. We're taking everything out of the book that involves George. And it doesn't work. You bring everybody closer to the line of scrimmage. It hurts your intermediate passes, hurts your short passes, kills your run. Just kills your run. So we're looking for guys who can make a real difference. Like Seth here says, everyone refers to Tuzar Skipper as the preseason standout who never did anything. But who was that wide receiver a few years back? Patterson or something? I don't know. I didn't get into all kinds of names here. But Tuzar was that classic guy who'd come along in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, and he'd run up like 3 sacks, like in a quarter. And you'd think this guy was, the next Lawrence Taylor. And then, he'd be in a more significant game setting, whether that meant earlier in the preseason or whether that meant the handful of appearances that he ended up having in the NFL, and you realize, wow, there's just not anything there. There's just not anything there. So when we come back, we're gonna be joined by Chris, and we're gonna go over some of these scenarios that everybody wants to be looking for, and I want to hear some of yours too. I'll be putting those up on the screen. Zach Hall calls attention to my wearing the real Jets shirt. There's only one Jets, and then there's an alternate Jets, other Jets. We'll be right back after this very brief message. Transition 1.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
And welcome back. We're joined momentarily here by Chris. I'm trying real hard. You can do it, Chris.
Okay.
I know you can. She's busy over there. We've had a pretty busy day here.
There we go.
There he is.
There we go.
All right.
I don't know why I look way different than I normally do. Adjust the camera here a little bit. There we go.
Got that? All right.
A little bit better. Interesting.
This poor soul gets to spend about 5 hours next to me tonight.
Hey, you're the one who said it, not me.
Flying through Atlanta and then on to Jacksonville, because Jacksonville is such a small place that they don't even have nonstop flights. D. Steeltown says, wrong. I love when people start a discussion like that. Wrong. Tuzar skipper should have made the team and gotten a helmet. They went with Jameer Jones and Malik Reed instead, and it was another mistake. My dude, there's a reason we're inside these locker rooms, and we're talking to people. The players knew Tuzar was not a player. The players knew this. They have ways of knowing things. They see things, they sense things, and they want no part of such things. I will leave it right there in case any member of the Skipper family happens to be tuning in today. Chris, we're talking today about who it is to look for. Aaron Rodgers said earlier in the week, game doesn't matter. Of course it doesn't matter. But there are individuals who are going to participate. There are individuals who can make an impact, not just for their own careers, but also for the Steelers. Who are you looking at here? Just give me, I don't want to flood everybody with names here, but give me like one or two.
I mean, it's kind of hard to not put any members of the offensive line on that list, because the one thing that these guys can do to really kind of get off to a good start is to just execute the plays that are called against guys that are not on their team. It is true of what Aaron Rodgers said, like offenses have a very limited playbook. You don't really see what offenses are going to be doing in the regular season because, well, they're not going to tip their hand in games that don't matter. Defenses are doing the same thing. They're coming out with very, very basic formations. They're not going to come with all these complicated looks or anything like that. They're going to be going out there just looking to execute some pretty basic stuff. At least with offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they can still, okay, this particular run call is, a run play is called, so let's go out there and pave a hole for our running back. Let's at least do that. Let's get on the same page when it comes to this kind of stuff. Let's beat the guy across from us, whether this is a gap scheme in which you down block because you're covered up, or if this is a zone blocking scheme, which means you have to, help pass that guy off so that you can take care of the guy next to you and then go to the second level and get a reach block over there or whatever it is. Executing basic fundamental football stuff is important, and the offensive line, because of all the attention that this offensive line is getting, Broderick Jones obviously more than anybody else, I'm looking at the offensive line and what these guys are going to be able to do in a very, very limited setting, but still going to be more important than anything that they're doing in practice right now.
My guys that I want to see, wow, here's the most boring answer anybody could possibly give you. Who are the two guys I've been watching every day, Chris? Yeah. I mean, obsessive.
Brandon Johnson's one of them.
Brandon Johnson? No, I have not been watching Johnson. Johnson has been leaping in front of me. Johnson has been standing out. There's a difference between that and spying the guy.
Right.
I've been all over 77, Broderick Jones, and then the other position at Troy Fautanu. And there have been varying degrees of evaluations for Broad. You loved what you saw on a separate field from me yesterday of Broad.
Very much,
handling. It was Nick Herbig for the most part over there.
Yeah, I mean, it was Nick Herbig. I mean, he was always
Herbig?
going.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just him against Herbig every time, whether it was one-on-one or if it was a stunt of any kind.
Perfect type of challenge for Broad because it's all about quickness. Broad's lost the weight. Broad handled himself according to Chris yesterday. Awesome. He was awesome. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep watching them. I'm sorry. I know this is just so important to what this team is doing.
One good week does not mean that, everybody can stop forgetting and worrying about Broderick Jones. He's going to be just fine. No, 1 week at training camp is not enough to quell the concern. That's for sure. So it's a good thing to see Broad bounce back after a start to camp, along with a lower body soft tissue injury. What I was told was mainly a groin issue. It looked like he was having it laterally on Friday.
We're kind of Chris is going in and out here a little bit, so we're going to ask him to reset.
Yay!
while I attempt, I'm going to give you the rest of mine here. The other guys that I'm going to be looking for, in keeping with the theme of a really boring answer, I want to see how Mason Rudolph does. Okay, I had a talk with him yesterday. Nothing that was, super formal or an interview or anything like that. Just coming off the field yesterday, he made a couple of plays, and he felt like he needed a bounce back day through a really unattractive interception the previous day. And don't forget, he matters a lot. Your starting quarterback is 41 years old. He's going to be 42 in December. You're asking a lot of someone of that age, regardless of their pedigree and reputation or how hard they're trying. Mason has to be as ready as he's ever been to be this team's starting quarterback. That's not me hoping anything. It's me pointing out what should really be obvious. Mason's had himself a pretty good camp. I don't know that even he would be, saying that it was, some excellent thing or that he's pushing anybody or whatever. But when I watch Mason in this camp, I see him within the rhythm of Rodgers goes, then he goes, and then before Will Howard, and then Skylar Thompson. I don't see some, big old drop off. Mason just comes in and he's running the same offense, and he's running it, pretty much smoothly here. Antonio Jackson said, how much do you see Mason playing tomorrow? I think you're going to see a good bit of him. I really think that you're going to see as much of him as you're going to see of whatever constitutes the first team offense tomorrow. And I like that because you have Mason out there with the offensive line, some of which he's already familiar with, obviously, having been their teammate in actual games. And you're gonna see him do his thing with some of the wide receivers that he's become familiar with and has learned to trust. Breezy says here, and I already have here, on offense, Rock Taylor. Lots of mentions of Rock Taylor here. Defense, Jack Sawyer. How do I put this? I'm not going to dump on Rock Taylor. I know that what happened here happens every summer, which is that somebody adopts an undrafted free agent And then the rest of the fan base catches on because you want to be able to name an undrafted free agent. Okay. Just fess up here. Okay. Rock Taylor compared to Brandon Johnson in this camp is not close. Okay. So it's not just about coming up with your UDFA darling. It's about finding the players and in seeing through labels or where they've been in the past. Practice squad itself is a label, and it's a very, very hard one to shake. It really is. If anybody can pull it off in year 3, more power to them. That tends to be something that's reserved for offensive linemen, probably as much as anybody. But Brandon Johnson's just he's outperforming. I would say when you're talking about the wide receiver position, you're talking about Metcalf, you're talking about a healthy Calvin Austin, and then you're probably talking about Brandon Johnson. And yes, I'm putting him ahead of Roman Wilson, at least for now, although I've seen some stuff from Wilson this week in covering all of the team's practices that I liked more than I have in the past. Chris likes Wilson more than I have so far. So yeah, Rick says that Rock Taylor's getting probably more attention for a guy that ends up. Yeah, I mean, it's just I've seen this before. I'm not new to this industry. I see where fans come in and they just embrace a name because he's there and he sounds like, wow, I'm going to really sound like knowledgeable football fan to drop names who are undrafted free agents. He hasn't been that guy. Now, can he be? Beginning tomorrow in Jacksonville? I don't know. We'll see about that here. I can bring Chris back in there he is. Replace that box. Let's hear how you sound now.
Everything good now. Check 1, 2.
Diana wants to know who will be the punter this year. Oh, geez. How do we describe to Diana how many FAA regulations Cameron Johnston is violating? Because right across Route 30 from St. Vincent College is the Latrobe Airport, which has real planes. It's not private planes. It's not small planes. There's like real live passenger jets. Like Spirit flies to places in Florida and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think they have a flight to Detroit, something like that. They're real live planes. And it's scary, man, because he's punting that ball up in the vicinity of where these planes are. It's crazy.
It really is. I mean, he is going absolutely nuts with I'm trying to delete the spam guy.
I got him.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I even got the question today on our app on DK Pittsburgh Sports. Cam Johnson's going to be the punter this year. I mean, that is not a shot at Corless Weightman saying he's not doing well.
He's been really good.
He's been really good, but this is it's not even funny. Like how, like he had one where they were practicing punts out of the back of the end zone. So you don't have as much, room, and you have a rush coming at you. And he consistently punted it past the opposing 40-yard line and even had a couple that got to the 30. Like in the air, that's 70 yards in the air. I mean, even like we're talking about a 60-yard, just under 60-yard punt. Oh man,
it's not just that. Crazy. His spiral is as tight as Aaron Rodgers' spiral. Okay. Yeah. When he puts it up there, that's one of the things that really jumps at you. And then he starts doing the trick punts, the end over ends that he knows he can make them bounce back a certain way. Now, when Mike Tomlin and others, and I just said it myself, talk about Corless Weightman, Weightman's been really good. Weightman has his own skill set. Weightman is an inside the 20 master. Mm-hmm. Okay. He was just money in the bank last year in this regard. So if you're the Steelers, you have these two guys, somebody is going to want Weightman, and they're going to want him, I think, possibly even significantly enough to hang on and maybe make a trade to jump somebody else. If you can get a draft pick for him,
why not?
Why not? If it's a 7th rounder or whatever it is, you will take it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been fun to watch. Let's put it that way. There's been a lot going on with that. The crowd loves it too.
Oh, yeah.
The crowd you just hear this like collective gasp from 5,000 people just going, oh, as the thing goes up. You don't even have to be looking at the field to know it's Cameron Johnston.
Nope.
Punting. Jacob wants to keep both punters. No, you don't.
Yeah, not on the 53. No. Maybe if you had 54 roster spots.
Dwight Jefferson wants to know how the Steelers handle player psychology. Is it integrated into the coaching and performance evaluation? There are people on the staff,
always,
and we have seen them deal with when Daryl Drake passed away. We saw them right out on the field. Okay, and you had that practice, the one that I think a lot of Steelers fans will never forget. The sights from that of players. Juju Smith-Schuster just crying right there, and Ben Roethlisberger sitting next to him with his arm around him. Deontay Johnson was crushed. That was the guy that got him drafted out of Toledo.
Yeah.
And there are people right on the spot to answer the question, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I mean, sports psychology, or like just having psychologists in sports, that's becoming more and more common, not just in the NFL, but throughout all of sports. I remember talking with a few of them while I was covering the Rangers, previously. I talked with a couple because they had just added in new ones. And so like while I was on the beat, so I talked with them and tried to understand like what they go through and like their process on how they treat players. And it's interesting to have those type of conversations, but it's definitely something that's being talked more and more about as I think the mental rigors of being a professional athlete. And so a lot of fans will hear that and be like, oh, they're being paid millions of dollars. How hard could their life be? Well, actually pretty hard. We've seen a number of guys, have some significant mental issues after careers are done, and sometimes it derails careers. So it is something that's getting more and more attention, and deservedly so.
Yeah, and in general, excuse me, some of the he-manness of football and the macho vibe that's held back players, not just in mental health but also in physical health, notably, when it comes to concussions, that's changed. Spotters are now on the field, and the spotters, part of what they have to do is they have to work with the players to develop the trust. Ben talked about this too when he was playing. He'd get dinged, and now somebody would come over and talk to him who was a familiar face, not an enemy, not somebody who was trying to get him out of the game. They'd just say to him, hey, Ben, hey, listen, it's me. You all right? You all right? Come on in this tent here. We're going to take a look. Yeah. Okay. And that has to happen too. You have to get rid of the whole, I'm too tough for this and everything. Michael says they are still people, and they all still have, brains that they need to take care of. And those brains are getting thrown around like you're cooking scrambled eggs over the course of a 3-hour National Football League game. Jacob asks, Chris, why don't teams draft for special teams? I mean, they do. They do.
Carson Bruner was not drafted because of his ability as a linebacker. He was drafted because he could, if he makes the team, bring primarily the ability to play special teams. Dante Kent, 7th round pick, literally has the PR next to DB on his position on the team's website. So, listen, I don't think either guy is going to make the team, but it doesn't mean that guys aren't brought in because they, can only play offense or only play defense. Special teams is definitely thought of when guys, especially like in the later rounds, you're not drafting a special teams guy in the 1st or 2nd round, but when you're drafting 5th, 6th, 7th round, you're usually looking at, okay, what do they do as a special teamer? And that can help get a guy drafted.
Chad says, wear your mouth guard. Mouth guard's a big part of it too, because you're stabilizing as much as you can. It's a football show, but I will use this opportunity here to say how much I hate that the NHL is allowing players to skate around with their mouth guards hanging out. The way you've seen from Matthew Tkachuk, Leon Draisaitl does
Connor
it. Connor McDavid does it. And we're talking about 3 of the more high-profile names in the sport, and kids are watching them skating with their mouth guards hanging out. Wear it, okay? I mean, I'm not talking about in between breaks.
No, I know. So
with their mouth guards hanging out.
do you want to know how prominent that is in the NHL? So I'm as much as I can because my job requires so much time. But whenever I do have some off time, I like to play video games and I like to play NHL. Literally, you can have your character or whatever literally have a mouth guard that he bites and holds onto out of the side of his mouth. Like
Jeez.
that is a literal like.
That.
Yeah, that is a setting you can have for your player where either they wear their mouth guard.
Romanticize it. Good move.
Yeah. So it is literally something that you can have your player do. Like that's how common it is.
Yeah. Chev comes at us with something way too strong. Is Corey Trice's career done?
No, DeMarvin Leal. I don't know. That might be a different story.
What do you mean?
I mean, he had the neck issue last year. He had his neck being worked on in practice. I mean, he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. It's just that's a little bit different when guys are having knee issues and multiple neck issues. That's where you begin to wonder, like, along with ability, at least when Corey Trice is healthy, he's contributing. He's a real player when he's healthy. He just can't avoid the soft tissue injuries right now. Like that's what's the big bugaboo with him. And it's a big concern. I wouldn't say his career is done, but his chances of making the team, I think, went from being a near lock to now it's a little bit more up in the air now that with the hamstring injury.
Yeah, we have people asking about when or where the game is on TV. All I know is that in Pittsburgh it'll be seen on KDKA, and I only know that because Ramon Foster is going to be part of it.
That's cool. That's so
Other
awesome.
than that, I don't have any idea. We will have that information on our app, though. We always have that stuff as part of what we call our live file there. If you haven't downloaded our app yet, it's dkps.net/Apple with a lowercase a. If you're an Apple user, it's free. I'm not trying to sell you something here. Yeah, if you're an Android user, go to dkps.net/Android lowercase a. Could not make this any easier on you and freer. All of our stuff is there. The stuff that Chris, when he's covering these things in Latrobe, he's doing it live. You're getting it as it's happening in the practices. That's not something that can be replicated somewhere else here. We also have a community beyond compare, beyond compare. Yeah. It's our commenting community from around the world, 140 different countries, and we keep it clean. It's politics free and all that other stuff here. Dr. Shadow asks if I ever played any sports. We'll throw the same question to you, Chris, when I'm done. When I was much younger, and I mean really young, I played a lot of baseball and was really, really into it. Terrible in the field, but I could hit for contact, which I guess if you look at me, that's kind of what you'd think. Like you wouldn't think I'd be hitting for a whole lot of pop, right? And then I got into deck hockey and just committed like a significant portion of my life into a very serious and higher level deck hockey in Penn Hills and traveling tournaments and so forth. And I didn't count them, but I must have played 1,000 games. And I'm not kidding when I say that. As high as what's known as the B level, which is high as you get without. Right. The A level is just tournaments. Is just like big shot tournaments. I was nowhere near fast or strong enough for those. Yeah.
I played, so first sport I played was actually football. And I didn't play that until I was 9. My parents, number one, couldn't really afford for me to play a lot of sports. I didn't grow up very privileged. And so I didn't play football until I was about 9. I played football through my freshman year of high school. I played soccer a little bit too. I played baseball, but not like never organized baseball, just like sandlot stuff with friends, and was always had a good time. And then after I became an adult, around 2013, I started playing hockey, both roller and ice, and played that until about a year ago. I haven't played it in a little over a year, but hockey's definitely been the thing that I've enjoyed playing the most and what I've played more of than anything else. So about 12 years of hockey under my belt.
Come on, Chris, tell the truth here. You're Bobby freaking Orr back there in the beer leagues.
I'm definitely not. So the best way, and Penguins fans are not.
He's a human breakout film.
Penguins fans are not going to. So I'm assuming that there's a decent amount of Penguins fans watching this, but the way I've always described my game is Wayne Simmons.
Lefty or righty?
Right-handed shot.
See, we need lefties up there, up further up Fifth Avenue here.
No, sorry. I was always Wayne Simmons. I did all the dirty work in the corners. I did the dirty work in front of the net. I had enough scoring touch where he had to respect me from putting the puck in the net, but I wasn't going to ever lead the league in scoring. And you bet I would irritate the living daylights out of everybody else who he played against.
Carl Stock says, I miss Tunchen Wolf picking a camp phenom. I just miss Tunchen Wolf.
Yeah.
We talk about these guys a lot.
Yeah.
Up there. And I got a story that I'm going to share with you guys here that I've not shared with anybody, including Chris. And I hope it's taken in the proper spirit. But your center, your current starting center, Zach Frazier, is he's okay. He is okay at football. He is okay off the field. We were having a talk just a few days ago, and he admitted to me, he said, I look around campus and I think I see Wolf. Like it'd be somebody that looks like him and you think it's him. And Chris, you and I have had this conversation ourselves where we think we see him somewhere, and it took me a while to get over that with first of all, just seeing Wolf without Tunch was nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. And now Wolf isn't there. It hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. It hurts. These are people that were taken from us way too soon, and people who are, you want to talk about Steelers in their heart. I mean, they I can't even talk about them in the past tense yet. They were heart and soul Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. And to have that kid, Frazier, tell me that I still see him. I respected him so much. He was there. He supported me. And all I said I said back to him was, meaning to Zach, I said, you have to understand how much Wolf believed in you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wolf was a proponent and a half of this young man and of a certain other youngster on this offensive line wearing 66. He saw that fire in the Mason McCormack belly before any of the rest of us saw it.
Yeah. And
he is the reason. We were joking yesterday, you and I, on the show from Latrobe, about how, why don't we ever say any doubts about Mason McCormack? For me, that's why, because Wolf loved him.
Yeah, it's been different at camp this year for sure. Not having Wolf there. It sucks, man.
We better change the subject.
Yeah, we have to. This is going to get really, really depressing really fast.
We're gonna lose our composure here. And Ryan Lytle says here, I still have a picture of Tunch holding me in one arm. St. Vincent. Okay, knock that off. Seriously. Denny says Wolf is why I believe in this O-line, and I'll tell you this too, not to speak on behalf of the man, as he certainly shared enough of his own words about the state of this offensive line and the players who are part of it, but he also never, ever, ever, ever gave up or had a disparaging word for Broderick Jones. He just saw Broderick as a work in progress. He did not see any flaws, whether it was physical character or anything. Broderick is just someone who needs to get better, or to keep getting better, and to have more days like the one that Chris described yesterday, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just training camp is all about steps in the right direction. It's about building cohesion. It's about and improving individually, but also improving collectively. And that's what this setting is for. I was having that conversation with my wife earlier today, different position, but Wolf named Frazier the Morgantown Mauler. Yeah, he's impressive. But I was having this conversation with my wife earlier today because she was at training camp yesterday, and she was hearing the way fans were reacting to Rodgers, and she said it seems like fans are starting to turn around with Rodgers a little bit, and I'm like, listen, if you sit there and you count the stats and you look at, he's thrown interceptions in this, he's thrown interceptions in that, then you're going to automatically think, he's over the hill. That's not what training camp's about. Training camp is not about counting stats. It's not about how many touchdowns you throw, interceptions you throw. It's about building the cohesion. It's about building together as a team. It's also about improving yourself individually. That helps then the entire collective, both as a team and within the position as well. So Steps in the right direction. Stacking days is the way that I've been putting it.
Yeah, it's all Broad. He also needs to have some of that goaltender mentality, which is the puck goes behind you, just stop the next shot. Stop the next shot. There's nothing else to it. William always comes with a good question for us. Says, how's Chucky Clark fitted into this defense? If Juan Thornhill goes down, could he fill in? Thornhill is still in line, to be the starter. I wouldn't start concocting any drama at the safety position. But Clark has been visible. Clark has made an impression.
Oh, yeah. I think he is just about a lock for the roster right now.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he have to be?
No, seriously, because I don't think there's another. You have to have 4 safeties, and there's not another safety that I could think that would overtake him right now. Sebastian Castro, I think, has had a pretty decent camp, sure. But I think he's more of a guy that you would try to sign to the practice squad more than giving a 53-man roster spot to. Your 4 safeties right now are absolutely, Deshaun Elliott, Juan Thornhill, Miles Killebrew, and Chuck Clark. Like, those are your 4 guys right now, for sure.
Josh Bittinger wants to know who are some of your favorite UDFAs of all time. Well, I'm only permitted to answer with one guy there. For obvious reasons, the greatest UDFA of all time, period. That would be he of 11 seasons in the National Football League, all 11 of those for the team that he's going to be commentating for tomorrow night, Ramon Foster. But there's also been a bunch of other guys, and it's hard not to love what Jaylen Warren's become out of that scenario.
Very true. I mean, I have a hard time mentioning UDFAs without mentioning Donnie Shell.
Willie is not a bad one either. If you
Willie,
want to talk about making it into the Hall of Honor.
Yeah, I was just about to say
75 yards.
Yeah, he's another one.
75 yards. Willie is a good one here. Donnie Shell in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
There's been some really, really good ones over the years. Debo wasn't drafted.
Yeah.
Debo came, speaking of guys coming off the practice squad and making an impact here. Good question here from, I'm not going to give the name a shot here because I don't want to butcher it. It says, does Patrick Queen seem like he has more command of the defense? Patrick has carried himself that way on the field, and I've liked to see that. You don't see as many heads swiveling. Oh, my God. Remember that, Chris, last year?
Yeah.
The early parts of preseason and so forth? Everybody was looking at everybody else at all times, and then Beanie Bishop times 10.
Yeah.
Beanie just could not stop trying to figure out what he was supposed to do on a given play, and you don't see that now.
No, I really feel that the communication on defense has gotten a lot better. I think there's also been a concerted effort in that area. I don't think that's an accident based off of the way everything went down last season. That starts with Terrell Austin, goes down to the coaching staff, the position coaches underneath, and I don't think that it's an accident that the 2 positions that were replaced were inside linebacker and defensive backs. But with Patrick Queen specifically, he has talked about being way more comfortable in communicating the calls to the defense when communication is being had before the snap and the offense is doing its thing. When Aaron Rodgers is lining up and he's doing his thing at the line of scrimmage, there is not this, like you said, the head turning thing, like what the heck's going on. It's pretty, they seem pretty sound with what they're doing.
Lester Holmes says Wolf would be thrilled to see Max Starks replace him. I no doubt about that. He would be just as thrilled to see Ramon coming in and taking Max's place on the sideline. You know why? Because it just proves yet again that the smartest people on every team are offensive linemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to get into a fight with a non-offensive lineman.
But
but they are. They're the only ones that know everything that's happening.
Think about all of them, not just for the Steelers, obviously with Tunchen Wolf and Max and Ramon and those guys, but even throughout the league. Like, look at the number of offensive linemen that have turned into pretty good analysts and commentators, not just necessarily play-by-play guys, but guys who talk about the game, whether it be, on one of the screaming head type shows or even before that whole trend started. I really feel like some of the guys that I enjoyed hearing the most were guys who played in the trenches. And that is kind of, I don't think it's an accident that some of the best guys that end up going into that kind of a role ended up playing offensive line.
We'll take 2 more questions today. This one comes from Pie Guy, who asks, who's the 4th running back that'll be coming in off the bench? The obvious top 3 are Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson, and a very active Kenny Gainwell.
Very active
in this camp, notably in catching the football. He has been a part of this offense. He will be a part of this offense. Do not be surprised when you hear his name called on the 7th of September in East Rutherford. Not just tomorrow night. He's going to get a lot tomorrow night as well here. 4th, Chris.
I mean, so for the 53-man roster, they're only going to keep 3. I mean, they don't almost ever keep 4 running backs. So, but if you have a 4th, if you have like the first guy who's right now, Trey Sermon, likely, yeah. That's
Trey has to make the team as a special teams guy.
Yeah,
that's the one thing about the running backs is because they can run and they can get downfield. They can be, we'll see. But Trey Sermon is the one that leaps out here. Trey's also getting significant carries, considering what the depth chart is. So, Nunzio gives us the weather forecast here. Chris, got to remember to take something because we're walking to that hotel. From about
my golf umbrella is not going to fit in the bag.
It's about a half a mile. That's it. We have to go across some bridge over some river behind the stadium. I've never even been back there.
Are they even going to be playing tomorrow? Like, is the weather going to be that bad?
Nah. So they said chance of sporadic thunderstorms, 58% chance of sporadic thunderstorms. And being that it's Florida, it'll probably rain for like it's the end of the world for about 30 seconds and then, and then be done with it here. Jacob wants to know how long the travel day is to Jacksonville. Well, because Jacksonville is so small and does not have nonstop flights. Actually, Pittsburgh does have a nonstop Jacksonville flight on some bucket of bolts airline that goes there like 2 or like maybe twice a week. No thanks.
Yeah.
So we're taking Delta through Atlanta.
We flew a bucket of bolts to Vegas last year. I'm good.
Oh, everyone knows which airline we're talking about then. the flying banana in the sky.
Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
There goes our Spirit sponsorship, everybody.
Oh Lord.
Last time I made fun of an airline on a show, I heard from some pilot who worked for that airline, like, that's really offensive. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. It was a bad experience. What do you want me to say here? Jack Long says it's going to be 88% humidity in Jacksonville tomorrow, which is the equivalent of walking through chicken soup.
Seriously, dude. I thought it was bad enough having to stand in the valley in Latrobe to cover training camp. And no, that's somehow worse. I'm not looking forward to this whatsoever. Like 19 players are not playing tomorrow.
It'll be more than that. You know that.
Oh yeah, but I mean 19 listed by Mike Tomlin for sure.
Yeah, 19 will be in sweats to show that they're the cool guys.
Yeah.
But there will be X number of other guys who are in uniform who won't actually be sent onto the field, meaning the team is required to dress X amount. Yeah. And that's the way he's going to tell them in advance. He used to do this with like Alex Highsmith, for example. Alex is hurt now, but where he would just say, just stand here.
But I mean, like literally, and of those 19, 3 of them are the edge rushers. Like TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig. Like they are definitely not playing tomorrow. That means your number 1 edge rusher tomorrow night is Jack Sawyer. Like now, that's exciting for those who want to see more from Jack Sawyer, and that's cool. But like, geez, like you're starting to get to the bare bones of the roster at that point.
Yeah, we really are, guys. When we come back, we're going to take care of a little bit of business here on this double shot of Steelers. Let's see what we got here. Francine suggests that they wear shorts instead of sweats. Chris and I will be doing just to let you guys know, a pregame show from tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And what I call the Leon Cersi gate. I don't think it's actually the Leon Cersi gate. For those of you who go way back with the Steelers and remember that name, first round pick, guard, and ended up having most of his career at the Jaguars. And people really remember it and respect him there. The few fans they have anyway. And the last time I was in Jacksonville, he was sitting there at a table signing autographs. So for me, it's the Leon Cersi gate. We'll be there outside that thing, and we'll be talking to you guys on our app, the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, which we're hoping that you download by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. We're not trying to sell you anything. You're really going to like it too.
It's been a fun time on there today for sure. I'm answering questions from subscribers,
yes.
and it's been a lot of Cam Hayward. Oh my God, the sky's falling, and yeah,
there's been a lot of that. That's for sure. Rayner says here that he comes in with 5 gifts. That's appreciated. Lester dropped a couple of bucks on us. Antonio Jackson came in with 5 gifts. We appreciate you, my man. We don't call you out we don't single you out very often. We're going to do that today. We appreciate you. You're steady in here. Brent Haynes with 10 gifts. Also here, Kerry Russell, as always, with the 1. And we're going to save this one for last here because Jack Long drops $10, but he does so in memory of Tunchen Wolf. And that's appreciated, obviously, too. I love keeping their names going, Yeah. I get a little distressed when people come into our place and we only sell the official Terrible Towel. And we only sell official stuff here in general. We don't do any knockoffs or whatever, because why?
Yeah.
And I tell the story, it feels like 300 times a year, about how the towels benefit Myron Cope's school in the South Hills for the needy, and how that school is to this day funded 100% by the sale of those towels. So don't go across one of our sister bridges to the ball game tonight. The Pirates are playing, and just get some crappy knockoff. What you're doing is you're taking money away from this school and from Myron's initiative. Keep these names alive.
Yeah.
Keep these characters alive. They are a part. Even if they predate you, even if you're very young, understand that they are part of the fabric of this franchise. The team that you're supporting now is built on their backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is important to keep doing this, and I think it is cool that of all the things that are sold in the store, that the Terrible Towel is one of the things.
Right up front, man.
Yeah, because you can go to Giant Eagle and get them too, but man, if you're in downtown Pittsburgh, go get one.
And I'm going to say this too. I got the yellow helmet. I saw them. I saw these people. Did you see them all in Latrobe?
I did not.
Okay. They have these helmets. The yellow helmets are going to be worn with
the throwbacks. Yeah.
The throwbacks, right? Or faux backs or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I saw these people. Hold on. I walked up to one of them and I go, "This is the Rydell helmet." And they were like, "Yeah." They're selling these. And I said, "Well, they're back here at the merchandise tent. They are." So sure enough, I saw that they have them available, and I'm going to be getting the yellow one to put here in front here. And plus, it'll stand out a little bit better. Look at this, no logo. Somebody chided me here in the comments that the Steelers are playing an away game, and I had the wrong side of the helmet facing. So
actually, if they're away, you would have to have it where the logo's showing, because they'd be on the left. And then the Jaguars helmet would be on the right.
I can't make anybody happy. Here it is. All right, Chris, let's get down here and get to the airport. Look, we're going way too long here. We got to board the aircraft, guys. Again, lots of content coming your way from Jacksonville, Florida, on the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, dkps.net/apple, dkps.net/Android. Support us on there and come and check out everything that we have, whether it's video, audio, written, whatever. Everything is on the one app. We'll see you guys tomorrow, all right?